Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And I thought today we would take a look into my G-Shock, or I guess my Casio box, and see what is new since we've looked inside this box before. So really, my newest watch that I wanted to kind of talk about is my newest Square. So Squares are probably my favorite G-Shock. That's just like my staple. I think to me they're the most comfortable, practical, easiest G-Shocks to wear. So to me, those are like the bedrock of a G-Shock. And then all these other ones are kind of your fun watches, which are really usually not really comfortable, but they're just cool because of all the features they have. Like this one, to be honest, I've probably worn once. Had this one for a year, and it's I've never even wear it because it's so damn big, but it's so cool. This is probably the biggest G-Shock I've owned. And I've owned two Mudmasters, the 1000 and the 2000, but this Gravity Master is pretty darn big to the point where I've never really worn it because it's not really comfortable, but it's pretty cool. So I've kind of just hung on to it because just, I don't know, it's pretty cool to have a GPS watch, have an analog GPS watch, I should say, because I have other GPS watches, like my Garmin's, for example, but those are digital ones, but that's not what I really want to talk about. The one I want to talk about, which is something I've wanted for quite some time, is my new Square, and it's a metal Square. So really excited about this one because I've always wanted a metal Square, but they're so darn expensive. So I kind of have the poor man's metal Square. So this is basically the 5610 that I put into an AliExpress titanium case and band, and it's been awesome. You know, super light and comfortable. But I always wanted kind of a the real thing, as they say, and here it is. So this is the GMWB5000. I believe that's what it is. At least I know they with these names, it's always hard. But these are pretty popular. They've got a whole kind of line of these watches with different color kind of palettes with the different metal bands, different kind of bezels, inlays. So there's a few you can kind of pick and choose from. But this one is using the kind of the newer 3539 movement, and but I think one of the most newest things about it is the backlight. So instead of the EL backlit, this one is now using LEDs, which is kind of the direction all their newer watches are going. I've always liked the EL. It just looks more nostalgic, kind of more retro. So I'm an EL guy. So all my other G-Shocks are ELs. Like this one is this one EL? I believe so. Let me double check. Is this one? Yeah. See, ELs. I don't know. Something about the EL just to me just kind of has that quintessential look. The LED is a little too modern for me, but anywho, so this is my first kind of real deal G-Shock, metal G-Shock Square, and this thing is super nice. I like it a lot. I mean, this thing is like very eye-catching and very kind of just fun to wear. I think the metal and the G-Shock combination, you kind of have that mechanical watch look, but then you get the digital in the middle, so it kind of checks a little bit of both boxes when you kind of want to. This to me, this is like the perfect watch when I can't decide if I should wear, you know, one like my Seikos or should I go G-Shock. You know, boom, you kind of get a little bit of both here. So I primarily like to wear this in the summertime just because this high polish metal kind of just plays well with the sun, and then even this cool metallic kind of insert is like a metallic blue, so when it catches the sun it kind of also reflects some cool reflection. So this to me is probably one of the best summer squares in this color palette, so been really happy with it. It is heavy though. That's the only downside, is that you feel it, you know, compared to like obviously a plastic G-Shock or even my titanium one. So that's the only downside, is it's got some heft to it. But it's still pretty comfortable just because how compact it is, especially if you're used to wearing like mechanical bigger watches. This one feels pretty good. The one thing about this one I noticed too is the buttons are a little bigger in this. I feel like the buttons are easier to press compared to like the plastic G-Shocks. You can kind of see right here. You can see the buttons are bigger. Like these, you kind of have to get your nail in there, and they're really hard. They're not very easy to press. Where this kind of feels a little more easier to press. So that was like one I noticed it instantly. Like anytime I wanted to, like, you know, change modes, it's just like so easy. You don't have to like actually think about it or like focus. Like you can be wearing this and quite easily, you know, navigate through all the different menus without any issue. So it's kind of actually, honestly, once you try one of these, it's hard to go back to this one, because these are much, you know, this one very difficult to work with, like to the point where I seldom use those features. So now that I've experienced this, now it's like that's really the only direction I want to go with my squares. Is like I want all, they should all have these kind of bigger buttons. I don't know why they use these freaking tiny ones over here. So that was probably the biggest thing I noticed right away that's different, because, you know, a lot of times these squares are fairly similar, just kind of, you know, dress them up differently. But this bigger buttons was a huge welcome change. It actually makes the watch more usable than just time telling. What else? Everything else is for the most part kind of the same, you know. 200-meter water resistance, you know, atomic, you know, solar. It's kind of got all the same features, modes. It's, you know, they kind of, it's, you know, it's kind of the same one. They just dress it up differently. But really the biggest difference over the typical squares are the buttons. So that in itself is a huge upgrade. I'd get this one even. I would be more inclined to get these if even in these resin bands if they had the bigger buttons. But yeah, definitely very cool watch. I knew I'd like it, but like it actually more than I thought I would. To the point now, like this is really the only one I tend to wear most often, just because how cool it looks. Like, I mean, honestly, out of my whole G-Shock collection, I mean, truthfully, I mean, I really mainly wear two of these, like probably like 90% of the time, and that's, you know, by far, I'd say I wear this one the most, or I guess these two the most, just because they're so comfortable and, you know, easy to wear. And then I used to wear this one a lot, but now ever since I got this one, that's all I wear. And this one, to be honest, I don't even know why I bought it. I don't think I've worn it once. I don't know why. It was an impulse buy. And then all these other ones, I mean, they're kind of the fun to have, but not quite comfortable, so I don't wear them too often. Especially this one. I thought I'd use this one a lot more, but to be honest, it's not really, I don't know. Just don't, I mean, I should say I don't like guys like these better, but yeah, the metal square is definitely cool. So if you ever were on the fence about it, do it. And over here I got a window right here. You can kind of see just kind of the blinginess of this watch. So this is definitely a great watch to wear if you're going to like a outdoor event, a barbecue. It's a pretty cool to wear for outdoors. Kind of with a casual look, but yet still eye-catching. So definitely gets a lot of attention, compliments, conversation. So great watch. So that is it. So thanks for tuning in, and get yourself a metal square, and I think you'll be happy you did. I will catch you on the next one.